Hello and welcome to Stillness Sundays. I'm Kyle Greenfield with The Joy Within, and the aim of this series is simply to have a casual space where we can come each week to take a few moments to reset and find center, and reflect on a few simple ideas that we can bring forward into the week to allow us to cultivate more joy and peace and well-being in our daily lives. So today, I want to talk about the power of awakening into peace, and I'll explain what I mean by that in just a moment. But basically, I find that there are high leverage points of the day, and if we can win the battle for our thoughts and our emotions during these high leverage moments, then we become more and more likely to stay centered, to stay feeling peaceful as we go about our day, no matter what comes up. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But first, let's just take a moment to center. So maybe you sit up straight, maybe you close your eyes or just allow a soft gaze for a moment, and bring your attention back to your breath. Just beginning to turn your focus inwards. And today, let's just reflect on that idea of peace. So maybe we think something like, I love the feeling of peace in the morning. I love waking into a sense of ease and stillness and well-being. I love letting that feeling of ease wash over me. I love letting a feeling of peace come forward from within. I love knowing that no matter what I have to do today, I always have the ability to find peace. I always have the ability to find center. And I have the ability to come back to that, even when I'm working, even when I am cleaning or running errands or cooking or whatever it is I have to do today. I always have the ability to choose peace. Peace emanates from within me. It is my choice to turn my attention towards it. I have the ability to come back to that. Peace. If I know that I have this ability, then turning towards this peace becomes a bit of a game. It becomes a practice that we can choose over and over and over again. And the more we choose it, the more we stack the odds in our favor that we'll be able to get back to it anytime that we choose. So it becomes a virtuous cycle of choosing peace, allowing peace, and feeling more peaceful over and over and over again. As I said, there are a few points throughout the day that are higher leverage than others. To me, I think the big three are first thing in the morning, sometime midday whenever you have a break, usually lunchtime or somewhere around then, and then in the evening before we go to bed. But today I'm going to focus on the morning because for me, I find that the first few thoughts that I think in the morning really set the stage for how I feel for the rest of the day. If I wake up and I think, oh, I didn't sleep very well, I'm kind of tired, my back hurts, that sets me up to feel tired, cranky, upset, just kind of a sourpuss for the day. If I wake up and I think, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, I'm so overwhelmed, like I've got to do X, Y, and Z, like I woke up late, that sets me up to feel harried and chaotic as I go about the day. And if I wake up feeling, today's going to be a good day, it's a nice day outside, that sets the stage for me to have a much nicer day. It sets the stage for me to feel more at peace, no matter what it is that I have on my calendar for the day, no matter what surprises might come. So the question then becomes, how do we nudge our thoughts as soon as we can, first thing upon waking, even before we get out of bed, in order to direct them into one of those better feeling states, as opposed to the harried, chaotic state or the tired and cranky state? And for me, I find that it comes down to the immediate thoughts that I think and practicing developing a habit to try to center into peace. Now, I say try, and that to me even sounds too hard. It's more of an allowing. Like I said, it's a natural habit that we can develop. So when you're first starting this, you do have to remind yourself to do it a little bit. But over time, it becomes second nature. So what I like to do is I like to allow myself to smile. And as I said, even the verb like smiling sounds a little bit forced in this context. It is so soft, so subtle. It's just, I don't do anything not to smile, and thus I allow myself to smile. So I allow the corners of my mouth to turn up. even as I'm just lying in bed, just as I'm opening my eyes. And if I can remember, I think something like, thank you. So general, nothing specific. It's not to anyone or about anything. It's just smile, thank you. If I can do just those two things in the first 15, 20, 30 seconds of my morning, that by itself has such a tremendous influence over how I feel for the entire rest of the day. If I wake up late, even if it's only 10 minutes late, and I think, oh my gosh, I overslept, that has the opposite effect. So, what can we do to kind of push ourselves into that moment? Just a simple moment of peace. Just allow yourself to reflect on that. What can you do as soon as you open your eyes, before you get out of bed, to nudge very gently your thoughts in the direction of peace, in the direction of joy or ease or well being, or whatever it is that you want to cultivate for yourself? Now, as I said, when you're first starting this habit, it can take a little bit of practice, a little getting used to. But you have the ability simply to wake up and to be peaceful for no reason, simply because that is your natural state. Now, let's be honest, because while this is the goal, it doesn't always happen that way. We don't always wake up and immediately feel at peace. So the question becomes, what can we do? And I'll be honest, full transparency here, this happened to me this morning. I woke up about 15, 20 minutes later than I thought I would. And I immediately just shot out of bed. And it was that kind of feeling like, when you wake up and you're about to miss a flight, it was that level of intensity that I had because I woke up just 15 minutes late. And while I have a busy day, there is nothing that would require me to feel that level of chaos, that level of urgency first thing in the morning, just for waking up 15 minutes late. And so I lost that first mini battle for peace before I got out of bed because I woke up and I shot up out of bed and I started my day without even a breath. And because I lost that battle, I then had to move to what the next point is. But here's the trick, is that we're still talking about something that's first thing in the morning. So our thoughts still aren't really that active. They haven't had time to build much momentum yet. So we still have a large amount of influence over them, even if we don't catch them in the first 30, 60 seconds of the day. So the next backstop that I use is when I'm brushing my teeth. For me, it's a couple of minutes where you can't really do anything else. And so it's a great time to kind of step back and reflect on the thoughts that you're thinking. Now, this morning, full transparency, my thoughts were going wild. They were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my wife didn't want to set an alarm last night. That caused me to wake up late. I thought I was going to get up early, but obviously, we're out of alignment. She doesn't care about the things I have to do today. None of that is true, but that's where my mind was headed first thing in the morning. But because it had only just started doing that story, it hadn't gotten too far down the rabbit hole. So it was still pretty easy to wind it back. And all that I had to do was start to say, well, is it worth it? Is it worth it to feel this upset, this mad, this chaotic, because I slept in 15 minutes later than I thought I was going to do? If I stay down this path, if I allow my mind to keep going off in that direction, I will lose way more than 15 minutes of productivity today. It will cause me to spiral and lose half the morning if I allow it to keep down this path. So I have to reset. I have to shift my thoughts. And again, because I'm not wound into those thoughts yet, they're just kind of flowing through me. And even though they're active, even though they're fast, I'm not tied into them emotionally. And so it's easier, because it's first thing in the morning, to come back to that point of center, to think rationally about them, and then to use that little bit of space to start to shift my mind into a different direction. So I can start to self-soothe. I can start to say, well, it's okay. Yes, it's a few minutes later than I thought, but it'll figure it out. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it. And I can just use simple tactics like that to start to wind my mind back from the brink, because it's not that big of a deal. And because it's one of these high leverage points that has a tremendous influence over what I'm going to get done for the rest of the morning. And that has a tremendous influence over how I'm going to feel as I go about the rest of my day. So it is an absolutely very powerful time to just reflect, really question your thoughts. And like I said, it's simple as asking, is it worth it for me to be thinking this thought? What would I lose if I keep going down the path of this thought? And how can I just shift it just a little bit in order to change the direction of my day. And I really do believe that anyone can do this. I don't think that there's anything particularly difficult about this strategy. It's just about knowing that if you pay attention during these first few moments of the day, you have the ability to shift the rest of the day before it happens, to place yourself into that better mood. And it's not a miracle cure. It doesn't guarantee anything. It stacks the odds in your favor. It makes it far more likely that you will be able to stay centered and at peace. And if we can just keep finding those ways to put those odds more and more in our favor, that's how we can ultimately guarantee that we feel peaceful. Because the odds just become so overwhelmingly positive that they allow us to stay into that state of peace. So I encourage you to try this out for yourself this week. As I said, it can take a bit of practice to kind of get used to it. It does become a habit. It does become second nature if you stick with it. So that's it for today. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, I really encourage you to check out thejoywithin.org. I've got a ton of other guided exercises and courses and meditations on there that you can try out. But really, my main ask is that please, please, please share this video with someone that you care about. I really believe that we all have the ability to feel at peace. We all have the ability to feel joyful, and we just forget that in our day-to-day lives. And the more that we can remind ourselves of that, the more we can remind others of that, the better world that we create. And I really honestly believe that. So thank you so much for your time here today. I love you and I appreciate you wherever you are. Please pass this on. Thank you.